When I applied to the IIMs, I had what people usually called 998 profile and 5 years of work experience from Tamil Nadu Public Works Department. On paper, that looked respectable, but my profile had one obvious gap. My extracurricular and my achievement sections were almost empty. I also did not pursue a serious hobby that could add another side to my story. But still, I made it to IIM Bangalore. Once I reached the campus, the gap followed me into the placement preparation as well. So, in this video, I want to explain what profile actually means and how different IIMs use it and what you can start doing now. This will help you whether you are in college or you have just graduated or you are already working. People often message me saying, "Hey Amir, I have completed 6 online courses. Will this improve my profile?" My honest answer is a course has value when you use it to do something. A certificate sitting in a folder gives an interviewer very little to discuss. Suppose you complete a digital marketing course. You can use it to run a real campaign for a college club, a business, or an NGO. Now you have a problem, an action, and a result. You can explain what you tried, where you went wrong, and what changed. That experience give you a much stronger conversation than the completion certificate. I see a profile in 4 parts. First, your academic records, class 10th, class 12th, graduation, and CAT score. Second, your practical records, internship, full-time work experience, live projects, campaigns, and positions of responsibility. Third, the part of your life outside formal work, competitions, sports, volunteering, creative work, or a hobby that you have pursued continuously or consistently. And fourth, your ability to explain all of this clearly. Your profile exists on paper, your story makes the paper useful. In my case, my academics were strong and I had like 5 full years of work experience from the government sector. I have handled projects and teams, so I had a real responsibility to speak about. But almost my entire profile depended on that one chapter of my life. If an interviewer asked about an extracurricular achievement, competition, or a hobby, I didn't have a strong example. My profile had depth in work experience, but very little width. If I were applying again, I would start building that width much earlier. I would take part in case competitions, work on projects outside my job, and pursue one genuine hobby with some consistency. At IIM Bangalore, I tried to rectify my mistakes. I joined the student media cell of IIM Bangalore. I took part in multiple case competitions and won several of them. In my experience, those wins helped me land a summer internship at Puma and also helped me get multiple shortlists during my final placements. The competitions gave recruiters an evidence. They could see that I have worked on business problems, built presentations, worked with a team, and defended my ideas. And I still failed 17 interviews during my final placements. A profile can get you into the interview room. Your preparation, role fit, and explanation decides what happens inside that room. The point is simple. Your old academic marks can affect your shortlist. CAD remains a major factor. Work experience, diversity, your interview, and your resume enter differently at different institutes. A general online course carries zero guaranteed admission points. Practical works give you material for the application, your interview processes, and later your placement resume. Please check the official admission policy for your target batch. Coaching centers often reduce the process to one single cutoff, and the actual formula has several moving parts. College students have the largest window to work with. Your graduation marks are still being written, so protect them. Then choose one place where you can take actual responsibility. You could manage a college event budget, lead sponsorship for a fest, run a campaign, organize volunteers, or improve how a club works. Keep the proof of work. Save the email, the result, the budget, the participation numbers, and a small note about your role. By the time interview seasons arrive, memory becomes very creative. Documents are reliable. Case competitions are very useful because they force you to solve an unfamiliar problem within a strict deadline. Start with college level competitions. Learn how to structure a problem and make clean presentations. If you want, let me know in the comments. I'll share my case competition winning slides. Each attempt should improve your next one. A national win may take longer than a Sunday evening. Internships and live projects can also help you build practical examples. Formal work experience score at some IIMs exclude internships, but a genuine internship can still give the panel useful material for the interview when you can explain your contribution. And please keep a life outside CAT preparation. A genuine hobby gives another way for the panel to understand you. Pick something you actually enjoy and keep doing it. The interviewers are very intelligent. They can usually detect a hobby that became just 11 minutes before submitting the form. Fresh graduates can create practical evidence over the next 6 to 12 months. Find an internship with clear ownership. Take up a live project for a startup, local business, or an NGO. Help them solve one contained problem. Improve a process, research a market, run a small campaign, or study customer feedback. Agree on the result before you start. For example, I will interview 30 customers and identify the top reasons for drop off. That sentence already gives the project more shape than worked on market research. Competitions are open to graduates in many cases, and some organizations run public business challenges. Choose those where you can submit a real work and receive a result you can verify. Courses can support the project. Learn Excel because your project needs analysis. Learn digital marketing because you are running a campaign. The work should pull the learning forward. Working professionals already have the raw material. The job is to notice it and build stronger ownership. Ask for projects where you can solve a visible problem. Volunteer to improve a process. Train a new team member. Coordinate across departments or start a small initiative. Keep the scope realistic enough to complete. Write down 4 things for every project: the situation, your responsibility, the action you took, and the result. Use numbers where you can share them. Time saved, cost reduced, people managed, delays avoided, or consumers reached. This can make the work concrete. This becomes especially important for someone who wants to change their sectors. A recruiter may struggle to connect your current job with the future business role. You have to build that bridge for them. Your proof must also be verifiable. The official policies ask for documents such as joining letters, experience letter, relieving letter, and pay slips. Keep employer information public and safe. You can explain your impact without carrying the confidential slides to an interview. Getting the admission offer in IIMs gives you a new starting point. Summer placements often arrives very quickly, even before students have fully figured out the mess menu. I used case competitions to add business experience to my profile that had been dominated by government work experience. They helped me show interest in functions and industries that were new to me. When you reach campus, read the placement resume format as early as possible. Speak to seniors, look at the roles you may target, and identify which lines are missing in your resume. Choose activities that can create those lines. For some people, that may be a case competition. For someone else, it could be a live project, a student committee, an independent research project, or responsibility in a campus event. Depth still counts. Recruiters may ask exactly what you did, how the team divided the work, and why you made a particular recommendation. One project you understand properly will carry a better conversation than a page filled with unfamiliar certifications. And prepare the explanation alongside the achievement. During my final placements, one of my biggest gaps was explaining how my past experience mattered for each role. I had experience, but I needed a sharper translation. For every target role, answer this question: which problem in this job have I already handled in another form? This is how an unusual background makes sense to a recruiter. So here is what I would do over the next 90 days. In the first week, write down your current profile under the 4 parts we discussed: academics, practical work, life outside work, and your story. And circle the weakest part you can still change. Over the next 2 weeks, choose one project or one competition with a clear finish line. Define what you will submit or improve. Spend roughly the next 7 to 8 weeks doing that work. Keep a weekly note with your actions, numbers, and the mistakes you have made. This will help you write the resume bullets and prepare you for follow-up questions. In the final 2 weeks, turn the experience into a one-line resume point and a 90-second interview answer. Ask one of your friends to question every vague word. If you say managed, they should ask you what you managed. If you say improved, they should ask you by how much. Then repeat a cycle with a harder problem. Your first project may look very small, but a small completed project gives you an evidence. Evidence accumulates, and over time, your profile becomes easier to trust. When I applied for IIMs, my academics and my work experience gave me a stronger base. My lack of extracurricular achievements left fewer ways to show another side of my story. At IIM Bangalore, positions of responsibility and case competitions helped me add that missing evidence. They supported my placement profile, and they also taught me how to work on business problems that were new to me. Start with a part of your profile you can still change. Do real work, keep proof, and learn to explain why it mattered. Comment with where you are right now: college, recently graduated, or working. And also mention the one profile point you want to improve over the next 90 days. I'll try to respond with a practical idea for it. If you want more practical videos on IIM admissions, placements, and life after MBA, subscribe to my channel. And if you like to support this work more directly, you can join the channel membership too. See you in my next video.